Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it is time for my second part of my F1 2015 discussion video. So last time, in part 1, we just talked about some career mode stuff, some online stuff, including an ultimate team idea. That really did split some opinions in the comment section below, but it was really nice to see your opinions. Feel free to do the same for this video as well. In today's episode, or today's part, the second part of 2, I'll be talking about some of the gameplay stuff, so that means sort of AI, how fast they are, perhaps commentary, weather dynamics, damage models, camera angles, all that sort of thing that isn't necessarily a game mode, but its inclusion might make the game a little bit more realistic. So really, in terms of what we're looking for F1 2015, we're looking really for a solid career mode. We're looking for something that just stands above previous career modes to make it a little bit more addictive, I think is the word, because you think about FIFA 15 career mode and stuff, it's relatively addictive. It's not really the same with F1 2014 or any F1 game, because it's all sort of the same no matter what season you're in, apart from perhaps what car you're in. Online, we're looking for something to make an incentive for people to actually go online more. That's why we came up with the Ultimate Team idea, or RER Videos came up with the Ultimate Team idea last time out. But in terms of when we're moving on to next gen, because obviously F1 2015 or whatever it happens to be called will be on next gen, we'll be looking for some more realism, really, when it comes to motions of cars, physics, damage models, all of those sorts of things, to actually step up the racing a little bit more. I mean, the first thing, especially when we talk about stepping up the racing, has to be the racing against the AI. They've got to be more aggressive, because currently you've got AI just backing out of corners. If they're up the inside, it has got marginally better since F1 2013. You do actually get the AI actually occasionally making a move up the inside of you instead of backing out, but it's only really 1 in 4 times, as I said. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the racing, I play Forza 5, and the AI on that, they are insane, they're mental, they have accidents amongst themselves, they make really good moves on you, they race against you properly, and that's how it is in real life, in F1, drivers don't just back out of a move, especially up the inside, they actually race against you. And I look at people who are doing F1 2010 series like Ayrton and Smooth Racing and StopMat, and you see the AI, and they're actually they're good to race against. So I don't know what happened in the progression over those 4 years, but they're just so cautious on the brakes especially, and yeah, it's just not ideal. It's just not ideal to race against. It doesn't really give a challenge. They've got pace, they set good lap times, but actually racing against them is not a challenge whatsoever. Sort of tying in with this, better first lap AI, better first corner AI. We all know that, how slow the AI are on the first lap and through corners, but that's, as I say, because they're so cautious in making moves. They're all alongside each other, they all don't want to make moves up the inside or around the outside of people, and it just gets a bit messy down into turn 1 usually. Moving on from that, I suppose staying in with that, the randomness of the AI, there needs to be more AI mistakes. I mean, especially, I've noticed some corners do provide action. Ascari at Monza, that first sector in Austin at Cota, that always provides some crashes. But the AI are sort of they're a bit boring, they don't really make many moves amongst themselves, really, they're very interesting. They don't really have that many just random going off the track moments unless they've hit someone else. So it's not essential, but perhaps make them a little bit more random in the actions, in the moves, and in the lines that they make, just even something as simple as going wide and missing an apex into a chicane or something. The AI just don't really tend to do that. So moving on from the AI really now, and we're just going to look for a little bit of wider variety of team radios. It's not something essential. I wouldn't mind the team radios that they have now being in the next game, but it does get a little bit repetitive. Rain's coming down, it's exactly the same message. Just a few more messages, just a few things more that the team, the crew chief could actually say in-game, in conversation. Apart from that, we've also got the possibility of commentary. Now, this was interesting. I watched Stopman 1998's video on this same subject, actually, and he said that there'd been a tweet from Crofty, or David Croft, who does the F1 commentary on Sky Sports, saying that he recorded some lines for F1 2015, which is interesting. It could be for scenario mode, let's be honest, because they do, they do get him to commentate on scenario mode. But overall, they don't. I mean, it was specifically about Jenson Button as well, so they don't specifically tend to record that many lines about the same person. So I don't know, read of that what you will. Personally, I think it'll be for scenario mode. I don't think I'll be getting my hopes up, but it would be interesting to see how commentary would actually affect the game. I don't know whether it would be good for me. I'm not entirely sure. I would probably turn it off if there was the possibility, because obviously I need to commentate over the gameplay as well. So having the commentary in the background might be slightly intrusive, but if I didn't make videos or record, then I probably would actually quite like that feature. as long as it was realistic and they didn't just repeat themselves constantly. Apart from that, we've got a different HUD, because it's been exactly the same, all the graphics for the last 2 years, apart from the colour. And apart from that, also, we've got better damage model. Now, this is an interesting one. Obviously, we are moving on to next gen. There's more scope for this sort of thing. Wheel tether, suspension damage, all of those sorts of things, because at the moment you can rip an end fence off, the whole wing off. You can lose your rear wing, apparently, as well, although I haven't actually done that before. And you can rip wheels off, and you can get punctures, etc. But you can't actually notice any damage when you hit someone, you know, on the wheel. There's, you know, there's scratches on the side pod, but there isn't actually a very sophisticated damage model for all parts of the cars. So I would personally love to see things like suspension damage. You know, if you hit someone at a wrong angle, you know, you can physically see the suspension slightly turned in the wrong direction. Depending on where you are steering arm and all that sort of thing if you hit a wall. I think that's kind of essential, really, because I think if Codemasters went into this game, onto next gen, with exactly the same damage model, it would just be a bit... It would just be the same, you know, and that's not... You want progress, really. And that's where FIFA tends to do very well. It progresses every year in the gameplay, but F1 just doesn't seem to very often. So that would be very nice. Maybe a more sensitive damage model as well that you could possibly turn on or off. Then we've got mechanical failures, which sort of ties in with that. I'm sure they used to be on F1 2010, used to be able to blow an engine up, or F1 2011. That isn't a thing anymore, so that would be nice to see, or the AI just breaking down in a plume of engine smoke. I know that doesn't happen as much in real life anymore, but, you know, that sort of thing. Just some mechanical failures, anything like that, or a suspension failure. It just doesn't seem to happen anymore. I'm sure I'm not the only person, or a gearbox failure, or ERS system failure, anything like that. Not just DRS failing, or on F1 2013 curves failing. Some actual, you know, proper fatal issues when it comes to the AI. I suppose they could occur to you as well. That would be slightly more annoying, but yeah, something along those lines. Perhaps some extra or classic content might be quite nice to see as well. I know people didn't really play classic content that much on F1 2013, but it just adds a little nice aspect. I actually quite liked it myself. Podiums and warm-up laps, or formation laps. Podiums have not been on a Codemasters game, I don't think, at all since they got the licensing for F1. Not entirely sure why, not entirely sure how, because I swear, if a Codemasters person, if a Codemasters member says it's because of lack of memory space, I'm gonna slap them. I'm gonna backhand them in the face, because they used. I've bought games on PlayStation 2 that had podiums on, so if they can't manage to put it on to next gen, there's just no hope for anyone, in all honesty. I don't know if it would add that much. I think it's just a nice cutscene, a little bit of variety, really. Formation laps I wouldn't really mind too much, as long as there was the possibility to skip them, because sometimes you don't really want to just be doing a formation lap. You actually want to get into the race, especially if it's like career mode or something like that. I don't know, it might provide some scope to talk about other things that happen in qualifying if you're making a video about it. I don't really know. But it would be quite interesting to see, at least, I think, in that sense. And then I think that is it, apart from one thing. Actually, no, two things. First thing, should they scrap scenario mode? I don't think they should, because it provides something that people will like. I personally don't. I never play scenario mode, but I know a lot of people do, so I don't think they should scrap it. But I don't think they should be putting the emphasis on it that they have been recently, because ultimately most people play career mode, or at least go online. They don't do scenario mode. I'd have thought less than a third of people actually play scenario mode. So emphasise on career mode instead of scenario mode is all I would say. Don't scrap it altogether. And then also some sudden changes in the weather, like downpours. Like, I mean, you do get heavy rain occasionally, but things that you can't predict, because you can look at the percentage chance of rain at the start of the race, and that tells you how long it's going to rain for in the race, not the actual chance of rain in the race. So I think that would be quite interesting. Just some more sort of random weather forecasting and random weather events, in my opinion. I think that would just mix things up a little bit, just make it more exciting. Slightly annoying, I suppose, if you were in league racing, because you can't predict anything, but I don't know. It would be interesting to see. Feel free to leave your opinions on anything that I've talked about in this video, also your suggestions as well for anything you would like to see in terms of gameplay on next gen. I hope you've really enjoyed this video, part 2 of my F1 2015 discussion. Feel free to leave a like if you did, and comment about enjoying it if you enjoyed it that much, as well as any suggestions or opinions on what I have talked about in today's video. Subscribe if you are new around here as well, but it has been an absolute pleasure hunting you guys today. Have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.